Rob. It's Monday Madness with my masterful friend. Damn it. I got masterful
Masterful
mate.
friend.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Good. Welcome to the show. Apologies about us being late. Hey, Desert Sketch. Apologies about us being late. The entire computer shut down just as we were about to go live. So my most sincere apologies. Love to you all. I'm joined by Jonathan today. I was very excited to talk to him. We're going to talk hobby. Well, we're actually just going to do some hobby. Dijin, thanks for subscribing. Warmaster, hello. Sorry again. Winner Dave. So we're just going to do some hobby and hang out, take some viewer questions and talk about the world. If you listen to the podcast, please stay hydrated. I know I am today. I've got a bit of a sore throat. And if you're on the Oswald Game Patreon, you've got massive balls, and I love you. There you go. If you haven't subscribed, Jonathan, do you remember what you used to call people who hadn't subscribed to the show?
Shit guts. What's the shit gut?
Yeah, shit guts. I remember one time someone had subscribed and you were like, if you haven't subscribed, you're shit guts. And I was like, oh my
That's how you get it, man.
That's how you get 'em. Anyway, I hope everyone's Monday is going well, wherever you're located in the world. Obviously, different governments are dealing with the lockdown issue right now. And in England, same thing's happening here, but we'll generally try and avoid that today. And what instead we'll do is we'll talk hobby. John, how you been? What you been up to?
Uh, wasn't that a long time ago we talked, really? But I've been painting some Terminators. Or Terminator. It's not really done yet. And now, is it good focus or is it bad?
Oh, it looks great.
Bad. Maybe it's a little bit
No,
dark
no,
in here.
no,
I
no,
don't
it
know.
worked. It worked. Put it back. Put it back. Put it back.
Ah, okay.
Oh
Well, it's
yeah.
not really. I need some highlights and stuff. And not to get tired of painting rims on Black Legion, I'm also painting demons. So doggos, the bestest of puppers.
Little cute doggos.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. I'm still working on these gaunt summoners. One of the things that I did do is I'm trying to sort the office out, as I've told you. You can see just in the background there. There's a picnic basket, obviously hilarious. But over there is some of the kind of like Stanley cases, which are really good for putting your stuff in. I remember when Hugh talking to me about organising some of the things. So when I got paid, I bought those. They're only like a tenner each.
Yeah.
And so I've managed to put all of my Orc spare bits and Orc units in two of them, and my Zinch in another, which is nice. And I'm trying to clear out the cupboards just to reorganise the office. So organising your hobby space is definitely a hobby, right? Especially for some of us.
It is.
It
It
is.
is. I
And
mean,
my go on.
and like hobby space and like your desk and stuff, it's way easier just to like sit down and paint. Like if you have a neat desk, right? It's more fun for some reason. I don't know
No, yeah,
what
I
it
agree
is.
with that. I've done this thing now where I only have one unit out at a time that I'm going to paint, and I found that that's actually been really positive. I felt less overwhelmed by it.
Yeah.
But so the boxes are called. They're like Stanley. Do you know what? I'll go find.
Stanley, like the Marvel guy, or
No, not Stan Lee. Stan Lee. I'll go find.
no, not this. The exact same word.
Uh, not, I'll go and find them now, and I'll show you guys in the chat. There we go. Oh, hello, Pete Pratt. Yes, you little gangster. Can you WhatsApp me it? In the chat, John. We've got some things to talk about. Here we go. Just seen a white dwarf photo that has Lumineth points. Light of Altharion is 220 points. Called it. If you'd like to get back on the show yesterday, I said 220. Fucking called it.
I heard I just saw a comment about it, but it's really good. Or
The Eltharion character.
yeah, it's like a Gotrek guy, or
It's like a mini Gotrek, but
yeah,
like so he's got a 3-up unrendable save that halves damage, so that's pretty great. Obviously, he always hits on twos, always, no matter the situation. Can do some mortal wounds, but his output's not quite the same. But he's decent. He's got like 4 attacks with his good sword, and a bunch of
what's the
other
damage?
stuff. D3 damage with Ren 3 on his 4 attack sword.
Yeah,
But like he's a guy on foot. At the end of the day, he's a single model. Like the thing about Gotrek is Gotrek can wipe out a whole unit, right?
Yeah.
Whereas this guy could maybe wipe out half a unit, like maybe.
D3 then, right? So can be a little bit swing. How many attacks is he?
4 attacks. If he hits any sixes, he's going to generate extra hits, and any sixes to wound will cause an additional mortal wound. Hits on twos. On the charge, he wounds on twos. Otherwise, he wounds on threes. So, and then Ren 3 is the big one. So it's pretty much going to punch through much armor. So he is really, 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 really good. I'm not criticizing that or saying that that's not the case. What I am saying is that he's a good on foot character, and that's very rare. We did a thing where we went through like War Scroll Builder, and we just like looked at a whole bunch of on foot characters, and there's no like gangster on foot characters really. Do you know what I mean? Some are okay, but
Sculpture, right?
yeah. Oh, so we've got all. So somehow we've got all of the rules for all the points for the book, but we don't have the book out yet.
No.
Which is exciting.
I mean, a lot of times, like it comes down to, I know the range seems to be pretty big with the new elves, right? But even if you like see the points of him, when it's like, he's too cheap or he's too expensive or whatever. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell without seeing the other units, because if it's like an elite army, you still have to do so many like important choices, right? So even if he is like really good, like as an example, like is it worth giving up the change host for this dude? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I'm
That extra
hoping.
drop and stuff.
It's whether or not he adds enough to the like. He's great as a single piece, but what's he going to do? Like, what's his like role? And his role is to go do damage. But if he's not quick enough, and if he can be screened out because he doesn't
I mean,
fly,
it's a
which
new,
is the case.
it's a new book, right? It should have some sort of teleport. Without seeing it,
Yes.
I'm guessing it's
And quite good
teleport,
thing
right?
about him is if you can teleport him, it's like quite an easy base to find a little gap in the enemy lines, right? To just go sling him in. So
Does it have
there's
like a charge bonus or anything?
no, but they do have like a kind of always strikes first mechanic where if the first two units can activate simultaneously, so like one after the other, which is good.
Like the smashing and bashing.
Yeah, but it only affects two. So I mean,
Okay.
I will absolutely agree with everyone. It's good, but I think the gaming environment needs good on foot characters. So I don't know what anyone else thinks, but yeah. Pete Pratt says Trogs need to give Weedy Elf some kind of head start. Yeah. Also, if you compare a lot of characters to that 220 point Light of Altharion, they are rubbish in comparison.
But I mean, in today's game, like in my opinion, it doesn't really matter if you are on foot or not, unless you're Gotrek, right? But you can always like teleport them and get them what you want. So like in the end, the mount is just an attack profile and some extra movement, right? And the game is so fast at the moment, like so explosive, and people can teleport everywhere, like however they want, basically. So do you think it's a big deal that like the different a hero with a mount and not now? You understand what I mean?
I think the thing about him I think what I'm saying about being on foot is that most traditionally a lot of the foot characters we often see as buff pieces, so support units, either because of the command ability or because of the spell that they provide. That's traditionally what we see. You don't tend to see a lot of like damage output characters. Or if they do it via spells. So it's quite nice. I like it, and the army might really lack it. You know, I don't see why it will. I'm sure it's going to have a lot of combat punch, but I hear what you're saying. Additional attacks is just on a mount, but mounts traditionally make something faster. And that small base is really positive. I think it's cool. I think it's cool because it's a bit weird sometimes when you've got this like hero that's like made of mythical, like when it's like a captain of like human guard. You're like, okay, he doesn't have to be that much better than like a couple of guys.
This guy is basically a fart in an armor, right?
He's actually the souls of an undead warrior transitioned through the power of magic into some swords. But yes, effectively, it depends if you think farts are souls escaping your body.
It's a part of me, right? Or you?
It is a part of you. And obviously, I know Gotrek on foot is killy. That's Anyway, so we've seen some points values without knowing any of the fucking rules. So time to do some wild speculation. One of my favourite things ever. Archmage Teclis is 660 points.
Cool. So he will be a bad boy then.
He will be a bad boy, or he'll be a Lariel.
I don't think he will be a L'Oreal, do you think? How many points is Arkin at the moment?
800? It's 600?
800.
No, 600? That's quite different. What is he at the minute? Let's go find out. 800? That's a great question. Warmaster, what's going on? Everyone in the chat, what's going on? Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate you being here. It means a lot to us. Let me just go find out what this gangster... Yeah, 800. Smashed it. Absolutely. There we go.
But Teclis he's a wizard, right? So, I mean, it's really hard to tell, right? Did you think?
Who? Teclis?
Yeah, I'm guessing he will have a cancer spell.
So I know some things about Teclis. Teclis has got maybe 3 casts. I can't remember.
3 dispels as well, huh?
Something that I heard is something along the lines of he can automatically cast 1 spell. Yeah,
that's really good.
Just automatically cast.
The spell as well?
Or, hold on. No, listen, this is kind of stuff I know. Yeah, so, automatically cast 1 spell. He can cast 2 spells with a casting value of 11 plus, or he can cast 3 spells with a casting value of 10 plus. Does that make sense?
So it's like you don't roll the dice; it's just a 10 plus, or it's a
it's just a 10 plus,
or a 10.
Yeah,
I guess that's good. That's good.
Yeah, but
that's
it depends what he can cast. What if he can't cast good spells? Whatever. So, again, until you see the whole picture, you don't ever know, right?
I think Teclis will be the coronavirus of competitive gaming.
By the way, if anyone has ever listened to Jonathan reviewing Age of Sigmar Battletomes, he effectively thinks every new book is the coronavirus of Age of Sigmar.
No, that's not true.
Yes.
That's not true. No, that's not true.
Go on.
Not at all. I love the Goblin book, man. The Goblins, they were great. I think the Caradron book is really cool as well. But there is always one or 2 or 3 Corona books. Corona Covidovich.
Right, anyway, so then there's something called the Skinari Cathala with the spell the Ethereal Blessing. So this is a screenshot from a White Dwarf. This is where I'm getting this information. Screenshot from White Dwarf. Ethereal Blessing sounds like you're going to be able to make a unit ethereal, which means you won't be able to do apply rend to it, which is a shitty spell to have in an army book, because then all you do is you take 30 dudes and then you make them ignore rend, and that's really good. But it's a good cool power for the dudes to have. Like, I picture some of those spearmen with 3-up unrendable saves. Sounds pretty decent, to be honest.
Yeah. Do you think they will make a Mortec Guard of them? I don't think so. I think hopefully they learn from their mistakes there. And in the end as well, like it all comes down to the unit cost, right? Like if it's 1 unit, I guess it's fine. But if it's you can have 10 of those
actually,
units.
I can tell you some of those things. So, so I think the Hammer guys, so they're in here. They're called the Alarith Stone Guard. That's what I'm going to assume that they're called. They're 100 points for 5 for the Hammered Pros. Yeah, so they should be pretty good in tasty in a fight, and I expect them maybe to have a couple of wounds, but maybe not. But then the Wardens and the Sentinels, which are the Archers and the Spearmen, 120 points for the Wardens, 140 points for the Sentinels, and then so that's 10 of each, and then it's 5 Venari Dawn Riders. So these are the elves on foot, on horses, and they are 130 points.
Dawn Riders.
Yeah.
On the dawn of the 3rd day, look to the east. Is that the quote?
Yeah, I think. Oscar Peterson over on YouTube says, he sounds like he's from your native land, John.
Yeah. I think so.
Hello, I hope the Lunar Throne Lords will be good. My plan is to make them my tournament army. Good luck, Oscar. I hope they are. Thank you, Rob, for great content. Special greeting to Jonathan from a fellow Swede.
You see? We're everywhere.
Yeah,
because we're not on lockdown. Hey!
Well, neither is the UK now, or are we, or aren't we? We're allowed to go out for infinite amount of time, but we're also not.
Be responsible, everybody. Be responsible.
I couldn't be more irresponsible as a human being. So that's like, I mean, people are trying to make me be responsible my entire life. It's a mistake. So anyway, so the little horsies are 130 points, which is pretty good for a cavalry unit. 130 points. We'll have to see what they're like. But we do know that Avalnor, the Stoneheart King, whoever the fuck that is, and it's from the White Dwarf Battle Report, so they may well have been making up some stories. But basically, one of the Cow-Goat Mountains, 360 points.
The battle cattle.
The battle cattle are 360 points, which is cool because they're probably going to be like 12 to 14 wounds, which is like, that's pretty much monster territory for everyone who isn't aware. 360 points is decent. It puts it around the Eidolon territory of goodness, so terrible. Or it's, if you want to look at it this way, it's 60 points more than an anointed on Frostheart Phoenix. So it could be as good as anointed on Frostheart Phoenix or better. So really not a lot to take away from that. Like, apart from there's some random points, but it's cool that it's come up. I like it because also there'll have been a flutter in the community office. So now they're gonna have to go and deal with that, right? They're gonna have to all be up in the grills. So we might see some more community.
Well, is it like a white dwarf that I've been?
Yeah, it's a white dwarf.
Like one of those German ones that's always leaked, or.
Yeah, but it's not. This one's an English one. Well, it's in English, so I don't know. I mean,
but the white dwarf, don't they do like one number at a time? So I guess the release should be.
Well, because the white dwarf would have gone to print before the Rona, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So it's still so White Dwarf is still on the same time frame pre-coronavirus, so that and pre-lockdowns and stuff. Ruskos, thanks for subscribing. Thanks to everyone who subscribed and joined us today. How all you are? Desert Sketch, how you doing? Elm, I'm JP. How is everyone? Just tell me how you are. That's what I want to know. Lord Draconis. But thanks for subscribing, Ruskos, you little babe. But anyway, that's cool. Thanks, Pete, for sending me that. Appreciate that. So that's gangster. The biggest tank. Thanks for subscribing. The big beast tank. Wow.
So it's like a shark tank, not a armored tank, or what?
Yeah, a big beast tank, I think. And Desert Sketch is doing great, starting to work from tomorrow, finally. Oh, I'm excited for you. I had to subscribe for all the awesome podcasts. Thanks, Big Beast Tank. Thanks. Also, great YouTube name. Twitch name. So I don't think there's anything else really to say about that. We're fucking grasping at straws like one of those YouTube reactor podcasts. I'm not into that. What do we think this means? Do we think this means that we're going to see a points reduction in all cavalry in the future? I, for one, am very excited. Who knows?
Yeah,
I'm not doing that.
We'll see. I need to get the, or not me personally, but I need to get the scene going again to get some inspiration, right? I'm in that state at the moment.
Yeah, but so we're talking to John today. Currently, you're actually painting up 40k, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess these guys can be used in both, right?
Yeah. A bit for thinking.
But we're doing this narrative shenanigans at the club, which is going to be super fun. We're basically a bunch of Sigmar players who started playing 40k, so we will be pretty bad at it, but we're really fun.
Okay.
So it will be great.
But you're doing a narrative campaign, right? Which is really exciting.
Yep.
And your army is, I'm right in thinking, Chaos Marines?
Chaos Marines, but now I'm thinking like I might as well just do demons because they're quick to paint up. But we'll see. I haven't decided yet because I still want a summoning pool, right, with the Marines, so it doesn't really matter what I paint up first, if I paint up the summoning pool for this event, or if I paint some Marines. Let's see
Never
what...
in my entire life have I heard someone say they want a summoning pool for 40k. Like it's a fun time to hear that sentence said out loud, but it's going to be
Yeah,
fun.
you get some dynamics, right? You can pick your tools versus the enemy, or I mean, you can summon, so why not? It's a mechanic, right?
Yeah, I think the big difference I think the big difference between everyone between Age of Sigmar and 40k obviously is that summoning in 40k you have to pay for ahead of time.
Yeah, I think that's good.
I also think that's good, obviously, but yeah, that's probably why you don't see it as much. Because why wouldn't you just have it on the table? But I guess it's a really great way of null deploying a unit if you wanted to, like, null deploy something.
Yeah.
Yeah. No?
Yep. I mean, remember back in the days when you couldn't have a summoning pool, but you could summon in twice the amount that you have saved.
Yes.
So if you saved 50 points, you could summon in 100 points.
Yes. That was a while ago, wasn't it? I can't remember when that was. Jeez.
Before General's Handbook, I think.
Yeah.
But I kind of like that, because then you could get smashed, like, for not having enough units on the board. But then again, you could bring them on, but you didn't automatically bring them on, so you had to, like, summon them, or I think at least in most cases you had to summon them, and those spells could be counterspelled or unbound is the word. so it was a risk with it, but it could be a proper reward as well. And I like the idea to be able to have, like, a sideboard to be able to remove that rock, scissor, and paper effect that some armies have against each other, or some builds. Removes the bipolarity from the builds a little bit.
Well, they definitely do. So I'm going to show everyone now on the stream. So one of the things that we've been working on... Oh, no, I've done that wrong. Hold on. One of the things that we've been working on since the show last week, if anyone tuned into our Thursday show, which I thought was a really great show, talking about how to review units in 40k, 40k chat is how I know it's not Tuesday. So this is rough and ready because I'm just showing you guys because Deepara Hobby Channel, thanks very much. This is obviously rough and ready because it's not meant to be out there in the world yet. But as you can see, the talented Mr. John Scrivens has taken... so I've written a document which I'm going to put in as a blog soon. But we've created a way of, like... showing a unit, which I think is a very, I don't know, love to see what you guys think. So if you're looking at this is obviously not correct information, but if you're looking at Ghazghkull Threkker, there's a picture. His role in an army is CP generation. His unit type is heavy, his mobility is low, the range of his weapons are high, that's obviously not correct, and his damage is light, which also is not correct. And by light, it means he's trying to target, like, infantry as opposed to Imperial Knights. So it's like a cool little way of taking information in. And for me, like, the show that we did on Thursday really helped me understand how I'm going to start reviewing units in the future, creating these little cards. We're going to bang it all on the website and then just give people some sort of information so they're like, okay, I could absorb that information quite quickly, because it was good. Because John, you listened to that show a little bit. Did you find it helpful or a bit?
Like, I'm too fresh to 40k, man. I played a tournament of 40k when the game came out.
You did?
Yeah, but I came second as well. I think it was around 80 players, but it was half sportsmanship. So hey, what do I know, right?
Well, did you see? Oh, not to. I'm going to move on from that. Rob, is this the thing? No, this is not the thing, Dreadwoods. Sorry. The thing. Yeah, we're still working on the thing, but I promise you, it's going to be sweet. What was I going to say? Did you see the video for the Silent King released yesterday? The Necron video.
No, but I've seen the model.
Go on.
It's beautiful.
Have you seen the model? Is that the one
I
they showed
think
in the preview?
Isn't that the crab guy?
Maybe. I think that's a new guy.
Oh,
Unless I'm wrong.
I don't know. I'm just guessing here.
Hi, Tanker. It's really cool.
I've seen one Necron guy though, and the remake of that guy with the crab legs.
It's the actual Silent King. So I'm gonna just let everyone know I have no Necrons. Don't interest me at all. Like I think they're fucking lame, to be honest. Like no offense, Nick.
Why?
They're just not interesting. Like I like I like Tomb Kings and I like Ossiarch Bone Reapers. I think they both looked they've got that Egyptian theme, but I think especially some of the big buildings look really shit. I really like the reanimation barges. I think they look sweet, but just basically Necron warriors look, I don't know, pretty lame to me. But maybe it's because they don't have very dynamic poses. Maybe if they did some dynamic poses, it would look great.
I think that the immortals and the guard guys, the melee guards and everything Canoptek looks great.
Yeah, the Canoptek stuff looks really good. Like I'm into that. And also, thank you guys. So that was Illuminator Cesar Ras, or Illuminator Scissors. The one that you were talking about, John. So the Silent King is a model we haven't seen. So I'm just going to say this without knowing anything. Just imagine he's the Nagash of 40k. Is that correct?
Who knows?
No. So the new model line using the new way of designing models could be amazing. Yeah. Rob, do you know if there's a place where I can listen to the roller coaster that is the original episodes of Stormcast? I would love several hours of discussion that uses the song from Lego Movie as inspiration for discourse. No, I don't know. I think that they deleted it from the internet unless there was some studious young man who downloaded it. I'll ask my friend John Lamb. He is very good at recording everything that they've ever done. I'll go and ask him, but I'm not certain. Big shout out to Lampy. I need to message him actually, see if he's okay. He's a cutie pie. But no, yeah, apparently... wow, okay. So apparently... John, let's just go do some fucking research, John. The Twitch chat...
On the Silent King?
Yeah. Silent King, 40k. Let's go do that. Let's go find out. So Sazerac, that's apparently who he is. When the Silent King saw what he had done, he knew that at last the true nature of the Catan and the doom they had wrought in his name. Also known as the Silent King was the last in the line of Silent Kings to lead the ruling Triarch of the ancient Necrontyr Empire. It was during his reign that the Necrontyr encountered the Catan and underwent the grand biotransference process that transformed. So he's the guy that made them into robots. Holy shit, he's important. Yeah?
He's the guy who made Necron Warriors look shit.
I hate this guy. Yeah. He's Magnus. However, the biotransference process that allowed this to happen robbed the Necrontyr species of their souls, and it was only afterwards that Sazerac, I don't know if I'm saying that right, realized the terrible fate he had unleashed upon his people. Embittered by his folly, he betrayed the Catan after the Old Ones had been defeated in the War in Heaven, shattering them in the Catan shards and imprisoning them in the arcane extra-dimensional devices known as the Tesseract Labyrinths. So this guy is strong enough to have destroyed the Catan. Holy shit! So he's.
But he didn't do it though. So is he strong enough though?
He's Mecha Nagash. I'm not joking, John. We're getting Nagash at 40k. Mecha Nagash. This is exciting. He's the ruler. Having gained this measure of vengeance against the Star Gods, the Silent King ordered all of the... That's what I call Justin Bieber. All of the Necron dynasties to enter the Great Sleep and hibernate in stasis for 60 million standard years, so that they might recover from the terrible losses incurred by their revolt. Once they reawaken, the Necrons would be ready to rebuild all they had lost and to restore their dynasties. With his final order, Sazerac severed the command protocols that allowed him to control his subjects directly and went into a self-imposed exile in the intergalactic void as his penance. However, in the late 34th millennium, the Necrons began their great awakening as Sazerac returned to the galaxy after discovering the approaching Tauren High Fleets. The Silent King recognizes them as a major threat to his people's chances. Oh shit, John. This guy is gangster, stronger than Nagash. He destroyed the Star Gods. This is actually really exciting.
Who's the Star Gods?
Okay. So the Star Gods are the old ones. So if you don't know much about 40k background...
Oh, so it's like the old ones for Lizardman.
Kind of. Some actually think that they're the same old ones because if you look at a couple of the weapons that the Seraphon have, specifically a claw and a spear that you can see on the Old Blood kit on the Carnosaur, that they are Necron themed. So either designer was like drunk as shit, like, you know, hung over the next day and just accidentally stuck some Necron bits on. He was working on 2 projects at once and got a little carried away. Or there's some sort of insinuation that the Necrons and the Seraphon are linked, or more importantly, the old ones are the same old ones in both Age of Sigmar and 40k. So
You know what the biggest hint is? You know what that is?
tell me,
They use the same fucking name.
how do you mean?
Old ones. They're called Old Ones on Age of Sigmar and Old Ones in the...
It's true. It's true.
I mean, you have Khorne Age of Sigmar. Guess what he's called in 40k? Khorne. Just saying, man.
Yeah, no, you're right. So there's some stuff in here as well. The Old Ones are an ancient and technologically advanced intelligent race of cold-blooded reptilian beings, or an alliance of individuals, advanced species who established an interstellar empire across the Milky Way galaxy tens of millions of Terran years ago. The Old Ones ruled over the Milky Way before the development of most of the other sentient species of the galaxy. The Old Ones may have been the first species to attain sentience in the galaxy and the first species to cross the Sea of Stars. The Old Ones are the original crafters of the Webway, and maybe the creators of the Eldari and many other intelligent races of the galaxy, such as the Slan and the Jakaro. Lol. Hey, Bradley. As well as the Croc, which makes the Old Ones the possible ancestral brain boys of the Orcs. Yeah, because they invented the Orcs.
Yeah, to fight off the... Was it the Necrons? They invented the Orcs to fight off. Did they create the Black Library as well?
Oh, I don't know about that. Yeah, there's some deep 40k lore questions at the moment. Hold on. The Old Ones are also creators of early primate-like ancestors of mankind on primordial Earth, who eventually rose to full sentience. The existence of the Old Ones is known to humanity mainly through Eldar mythology and their long war with the Necrons. There you go. The Warhammer Fantasy rulebook said the Old Ones came to the Old World on spaceships, accidentally bringing green skin spores with them, and the gates at the poles that they made totally aren't Webway gates. Ah, interesting. So it sounds like the Old Ones have been linked in both Warhammer Fantasy and Age of Sigmar narrative, as well as 40k narrative. So this guy coming back he's going to be massive. What if he's as big as Nagash?
Must be bigger, man.
What, bigger than Nagash?
I mean, it's 2020. They have new tools.
I don't know. I think Nagash is big enough. But this will be gangster. Oh, I actually am quite excited. I don't want to collect him at all or paint him.
If it's that big, though, you can't hide him behind terrain, so he'll be just shot at and killed.
Well, but what if they put him at like... Because they've got Morty and
Do you know what I
Magnus.
think they should do in 40k? They should do that Gotrek rule, like on big monsters. Or even better, maybe a Gaskull rule. Which basically is the Gotrek rule, but a bit modified. So you can only do a certain amount of wounds to them in the faces.
Yeah, that would be good. They've done that with Ghazghkull Thraka. You can do 4 damage. Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, you could potentially kill him in one turn if you have all the tools, but
you need to have all
probably
the tools.
not. Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. Well, so he's been in the short stories, said Angle. He wasn't bigger than other Necron overlords, but his body was way more advanced. Okay, so maybe he's not going to be particularly big. And then everyone's saying Necron Primaris incoming, because apparently there are pictures of some beefier looking Necrons. But if this guy is the ability to destroy Catan, you'd expect him to be mega powerful. He should be more powerful than the Primarchs.
But do you think you defeat them by having a fist fight with them, or what?
Who, the Primarch? Oh, no, you're right. It's way better to be smarter than strong. Good point, John. Good point. And so maybe we won't see... I don't know what we'll see. But actually, that news is more... I like the video. That's what got me. I don't know if my friend Laura is working again in the video department and we're starting to see some decent videos coming again from Games Workshop. But
she has done some excellent work now.
Yeah, she's done some incredible work. But that actually was a great video. And it got me really hyped, even though it's a faction I don't really care about. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm into this. They said Necron Overlords are pretty huge dudes. Can we talk about his power level on the tabletop? Should be pretty strong, right? He's like Yoda, apparently, not like Baby Yoda. Rob, did you hear about Dan Survives running a Soulbound campaign with the Rage Sigmar guys, Tomb King Tristan? I did not, but I'm super into it if that's the case. If that's tonight, oh my god, I'm watching that. I wonder if he'll have Sanguinius face from that one Black Library story with ease. I'm hoping he's got some sweet janky tech. Okay, so a lot of people are excited about the Silent King on the tabletop. Okay, fun.
Good.
It'd be good. It'd be nice to see.
Do you know what? Do you know what?
What?
I have a 2,000 point Necron army.
Do you? Is it
Yeah.
painted? Ryle asks why there is a link to some Amazon storage boxes. It's because I bought those storage boxes for my miniatures and someone asked in the chat, so I linked it in there for people to see what sort of boxes I was talking about is why. Yeah, okay. Well, that took up longer than I thought it was going to take up, to be honest. I was quite excited by that. And I'm even more excited now. I hope it's not some like tiny little goofy model, but there's also going to be some rules for Harlequins. So Psychic Awakening for Harlequins, and I'm hoping it's good because, oh my god, do I love those Harlequin models.
New clowns. New clowns.
Well, they're narratively one of my favourite armies. Like, narratively, fucking rad story and background. And they do that, like, you know, the fallen elf theme quite well. They're the bards of 40k.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And if I was going to D&D, I'd probably bard it up. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like they really sing to me. So I can't wait to see those Harlequin rules, and apparently they're going to be, some of them will be out this week, which is exciting. I'm not going to lie to you.
Is it this week, the Psychic Awakening? For them?
It'll probably go on pre-order this weekend. If
Cool.
they're back to running things, which if that's the case, we may start to see Man Who Reads Book reading book again.
Man Who Reads Book. Oh,
That guy.
the guy. Ash. Is that his name?
Ash.
Yeah.
Really nice fella. Nice fella. But he does read the books for us, which is the best bit.
Guerrilla Wargaming. Warfare?
Guerrilla Miniature Gaming. That's the name of the show. So what happens is the book goes on pre-order, and then that's when people who've had advanced copies like Ash are able to take the book and then read elements of it out.
Yeah.
And then, which is cool because then that gives us all our first sight of the book. Sight of the rules a month or a week ahead of time. So it's a great way for us to get the information a week before we normally would be able to get the information. So love that guy. I love that guy. Warmaster says, "What if the Silent King returns? What will that mean for the overall power level of the game?" I don't know. Like, the point I think Warmaster's making, and the point that I'm trying to make, is that based on what we've read narratively, and there is a conversation about the Ludo narrative of 40k. John, have you heard of that term, the Ludo narrative?
Ludo narrative? No.
Yeah.
That's new.
So, the Ludo narrative dissonance, or Ludo narrative dissonance, is effectively a single Space Marine is able to take on hundreds of orcs at a time. Yeah, that's
Sure.
that's the narrative, right?
Yeah, okay.
However, one Space Marine, like let's call it a Primaris fella, versus 60 Orc boys is probably going to lose eventually. He's definitely not going to be able to take them all out, right? So the dissonance, what we read and what we see on the tabletop sometimes aren't the same. That's where the issue comes in. So we've seen that this guy's able to destroy Catan and turn them into shards of Catan. So he should be like uber powerful, should be able to kick the fuck out of like Morty and Magnus and all those other guys. But he might not be strong enough to actually do that because of that Ludo narrative dissonance. So I'm not really sure if he's going to be incredibly strong or not. But it's an interesting story, right?
We haven't seen that Ludo thing for the Catan either, so they might suck. So.
Well, the Catan do suck in the game.
Yeah.
Like, ish.
No, that's just shards.
That's true. That's true. Only the shards are okay, but you're right. I hear what you're saying. We haven't seen maybe maybe everything's not as good, right?
Yeah.
So an interesting. He's Space Catacross. Yeah, a lot of people saying he might have like a Catacross style base, John. You know, with minions all over
I
him and
like
stuff.
that. I like that base. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's great.
A lot of people like bothered by, oh, how can he move that terrain piece, or what?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm looking.
If that's your problem, like, then you should have a bunch of other problems, to be honest.
Agreed.
Catacross is one of the most beautiful miniatures in the range, in my opinion.
I couldn't agree with you more. Couldn't agree with you more. Like it's like really great for like just modeling and hobby, right? He's also incredible in the game. Rael says thoughts on using smaller bases for models for aesthetic reasons, but still want to play tourneys. I'm doing a RTB01 Space Marine army, but they look ridiculous on 13 bases. Original on 25 mils. I guess the thing about Space Marines, like Rael, is that they're effectively being phased out of the game anyway. But you'd have to check with your local TO. But ultimately, they're not pointed for being on a 25 mil base. It's arguable that nothing's really pointed for what it does in the game anyway. So,
it's not a 25 mil game anymore.
No, but if you want to put them on 25 mil bases, you should check with your TOs, and TOs will either approve or not approve. I'm not going. I personally wouldn't do it if I wanted to go to tournaments. I think it's unlikely, especially because the 40k community is pretty strict when it comes to tournament stuff. More so than I'd say than the Age of Sigmar community. But it depends on the sort of tournaments you want to go to and what you want to do, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Lol, I'll move my Blade Gaze from 32s to 25s. Yeah. I don't think there was a point, though, when the Blade Guys were actually on 25s. I think that's the point. Yeah, interesting. It's kind of nice. Not the rumor mill, but the release mill is back up and running. We're getting these little insights into the different game systems and new releases. And I don't think I quite realised how much I'd missed a good old theory. A little bit of guesswork and just having a little chat about stuff, to be honest.
It's... sorry, I'm multitasking. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You don't have to be sorry at all.
It's been a bit slow. Like, we've seen all the teasers from the Adepticon and stuff, but it's like, but nothing is like produced. I don't really get like the excitement of it. I don't know. Do you understand? Or am I too unclear?
Yeah. Well, also, I think so. Desert Sketch as well. So, as asking about releases. So, we've obviously got Gargants coming out after Lumineth Realm Lords. We got the Realm Lords to come first. And I wonder if the Realm Lords were going to be a couple of week releases, but we now might see them come out in just one dump. Everything's available. Because there was that starter box, right? And I assumed what they would have done is they'd have put out the starter box on pre-order, and then they'd have slowly released the other elements over a few weeks to build the hype up, which is what they generally did. But maybe we'll just see them all dumped at the same time and try and get back on schedule, or maybe we'll see that schedule stuck to and everything just get pushed to a later date. So it's an interesting time. But I'm loving seeing new rules. I'm loving seeing new things come out. I guess I hadn't really realised how much I appreciated. Like, the cycle can be really hard sometimes, like how much stuff comes out. But I don't think I'd really realised how much I enjoyed the living state of the game sometimes. The new world, new releases, new rules, new models. And especially seeing Games Workshop explore things like the Silent King and other stuff is like, okay, that's quite cool. I like that. That gets me into some Necron lore a little bit. Makes the Necron seem cooler, which is easy to do because they suck.
I disagree, but yeah.
Do you actually think that do you think they're cool?
Yeah.
Really?
They're like the Terminator, man. It's Arnold.
it's like several thousand Arnold Schwarzeneggers.
Yeah, you should be scared. You should be super scared, man. Don't you think? And they're always backing. They have the "I'll be back" rule and everything.
They do, and "I will be done." Yeah. Some
Cool.
questions in the chat is: do you think it's justifiable to release the whole book with like 4 to 5 models? Could it be in White Dwarf? No, I don't think the whole book. What do you mean the Realm Lords book? There's more than 4 to 5 models. I
Yeah,
think
it's got a big range for the Realms, right?
yeah, it's pretty big.
It's more than 10 units, don't you think? Yeah, it
Uh,
must be more than 10 units. I mean, I've seen like 5 heroes or something.
yeah, there's quite a lot of heroes. There's quite a lot of
Yeah.
heroes. And then you got the cavalry dudes. You got you got 3 infantry units, which is pretty sweet. You got the hammer dudes, spear dudes, bow dudes. You got the horses. So it's like it's a really nice profile of stuff. The thing about those Bone Reapers release as well, actually, John, if you're talking about it, like it's a small release if you actually think about it in your head, but it's got everything that you wanted. They had a cavalry unit, sweet. They have like an elite infantry unit in the Stalkers, which is sweet in my opinion. Obviously got the Mortek Guard, which obviously get a lot of airtime and talking about it. You've then got the catapult and you've got the monster in the harvester, and then you've got loads of characters. I actually think it's it's a really good release. Like it's got a good profile, right? I'm like, I want to play cavalry, I could do that. I want to have a mixed arms army, cavalry, artillery, infantry, I can do that. So I think the only thing the Realm Lord stuff doesn't have is any artillery stuff, but they do have their kind of like archer equivalent. So
I mean, I hope, because I think for me the problem with Catacross Boys is that they have some war scrolls that do the same thing, basically like another war scroll, and then it just comes down to what's the better war scroll. Like, I hope for the Realm Lords that the scrolls have like different purposes. They can do different things. You know what I mean?
a bit like, are you talking about a bit like the paladins that we saw for Stormcast? You know, where you had a group that were good against monsters and a group that were good
Yeah,
against
yeah,
infantry.
exactly. Because now, I mean, we have the data on it, and everybody just take Mortek Guard because they do the same thing that other things do, but they do it better.
Yeah.
So hopefully they get that treatment, but we'll see.
I guess I hear what you're saying. I think it's hard in AOS, especially when you have the damage. Like if you're doing D3 damage, you're doing D3 damage to anything. You know, I wouldn't mind an army that had a unit that could specifically target characters and do better against characters. I think that'd be an interesting little element, especially in the Croak meta where he's just out there being a dick. But Croak himself is one of the best character
But I think
suppressing
like
units in the game.
how AOS plays, when you don't have, like, in general, when you talk in general, you don't have all these small missions like the Maelstrom cards at 40k have. They have to do different things. You have to have different things to be able to do different things. Like when you don't have that, it's easier for an army to become more static in how you build it.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I guess it's not just I think it's the game's fault as well, at least in how we play it, or
but
how it tends to play.
also like when you are building a list, sometimes you're building a list to do different jobs. Like not thinking about. I'll give you a good example. Like fighting OBR or even Nighthaunt, for instance. You know you're going up against good armor saves, so you have to have something that deals with good armor saves in some way. Yeah. But knowing you're playing Seraphon. Although they can actually get decent armor saves when they want to. But you know, you're dealing with that like high mobility. You want to get those characters at the back of the board. It's actually quite tough. So actually, sometimes it's the game state itself, the units that you having to battle against, that make you take the variety of units in your army. Because while Witch Elves are great into everything, Witch Elves never deal with a character at the back of the board. Never ever. So you need something that can go and do that job. In your list, if you think that that's an important role that your army needs to take.
I guess 40k is better at it because of the weapon profiles, like how the big guns to shoot one hard shot, they can take down tough things, and you need those small many shots to take care of small hordes and stuff. Whereas in Sigmar you can just have one big hammer that, as long as it hits hard as fuck, you can just use that one.
Yeah, I think it's just very different. I like
Yeah.
the more I get into it, and I was saying this on the show the other day. The more I get into it, the more the games are so similar, but they're so different. Like there's a real like intrinsic difference internally for them,
Yeah.
in my opinion. But we'll see. I would like to see a Battleline unit with the priest keyword. That'd be interesting. Yeah. Just looking at the White Dwarf with OBR, and they look so good. Nighthaunt are probably the most guilty of having a load of units that are just combat unit doing basically the same thing. Yes, Angle, I couldn't agree with that. And John, that really mirrors your point. I think that's a good one. And it's weird that they would do something like Paladins, where they did have those multi-roles, and then they didn't then follow up with that. And what stuff... what stuff would
Remember
you
the Reapers, like 120 Reapers. Like,
yeah. So it would be good, like, if you just got units that just had bonuses against monsters, bonuses against hordes, whatever it might be, like on their war
like
scroll.
the catapults, like if you are targeting a unit with more than 10 models, and it's like small stuff like that, like so they have a purpose, right?
Absolutely, like the Plague Claw catapult. That was at one point, like 10 or more models. I think it was over 10, so it was actually started at 11. But you ended up doing 2d6 damage instead of d6. It just gives it a roll, and I think that's actually
you still only used it to shoot characters, though.
just try really really hard. Yeah. I think you're right. Actually, I think that's a really fair point. Units that are more specialized would be decent. Like I like the idea of something that's got really big rend.
I think it would be better for the game, like overall.
Yes, I couldn't agree with you more. Like especially with the Nighthaunt guys, because you kind of want to get a bit of everything, but like you're gonna get Banshees. Let's be real, because Banshees are amazing.
Blade guys, aren't they quite good as well?
Yeah, who was playing
know.
when I was over in Sweden? Who was playing with the Nighthaunt? With the kill?
Jesper.
Yeah, Jesper.
Yeah, actually just wrote to me as well.
Oh, tell him say hi from
me. He's hosting the unofficial World Cup in AHS Sigmar. That it's only invitational only. And you guys aren't invited. I'm representing. I think I'm representing Zimbabwe.
Nice, Nathan's home country.
Yeah, so I need to bring a lot of cough medicine.
I don't know what that means, but
okay. Just Google Zimbabwe and cough medicine.
So also another thing tonight, don't forget to join me and Nathan tonight, because we are and James Powell, as we'll be doing some more faction stuff later on, which is going to be fun. And also after that, Mr. Dannon's Supervised show, 9 p.m. Soulbound and Down, the AOS RPG live play with Dannon Supervised and the Rage of Sigmar as seen on TV. So that's tonight. That'll be something I 100% am tuning into on my own channel. I can't wait. Tonight we're doing Sylvaneth, because we didn't do Sylvaneth last week. But yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that show tonight as well. That's going to be sweet AF. Well, as if anyone's got any questions for us before we head off, not that I'm really going to head off anywhere apart from to keep cleaning the office.
Oh, dude, you know what I'm doing this Friday?
Tell me.
So, I love horror games, but I can't play them. Like I die.
You were telling me this the other day. I love this. This is super cute. Can you tell everyone about this, please?
So, I got a challenge from my clubmates that I should play Alien Isolation. I haven't seen anything about the game or anything, but it's supposed to be scary. ASF. So if I manage to play through the game, I will get like I don't know what do you call it in English, like a big box of beer and a box of Warhammer.
A crate.
A crate, yeah. But I also need to stream it so they can watch me do it. And it's gonna be fucking horrible. I bought Resident Evil 2, the new Resident Evil, the remake.
Yeah.
But I can't play it.
Why can't you play it?
It's too scary, man. So on this Friday I'm gonna stream and I play Alien Isolation, and it's gonna be fucking horrible.
And do you have to complete it for you to get your crate of beer?
Yeah, not in one session though, but I have to complete it.
That's pretty
I don't know.
stressful. Are you stressed?
I'm stressed already. Like I've been stressed for 2-3 days now. Like, because it's I mean I like horror games when others play them, but I can't. No, I can't. No. So yeah,
God,
it will be
that's
good though.
hilarious. Yeah, no, that sounds really good. I can't wait to watch that. The propagation says I tune into that. We'll where are you gonna stream it? Are you gonna stream it on your channel?
Yeah, I can put up my Twitch and I can stream it.
Okay, well, we'll host it so that everyone else can check it out. I'm well into that. That sounds great fun.
It should be entertaining.
Yeah, I had to watch The Haunting of Hill House, and it was one of the worst experiences of my life. Like just 10 episodes. Go on.
So, like scary movies and shit. Like I can't watch them alone. Like where I come from, like in Sweden, it's up north and it's like out in the woods. So to walk from me to my neighbor, I had to walk through a wood like what is it, like 700 meters maybe. And we watched the Blair Witch Project when it came out at his place. And then I had to walk back home through the fucking woods. And there were horses and everything. I almost just lay down and just died in the woods, like from it. But it's great. It's fun, right?
I don't think so. I don't understand horror movies sometimes. Someone's like, I can't wait to watch this, and most of them are crap. Like I got the Resident Evil 2 remakes. I played it when I was a kid. And I played it for like 45 minutes, maybe an hour and a half, and I was like, I'm just fucking terrified. Like, I'm on edge. I'm just stressed all the time, and I don't need that. Like, life's stressful enough at the minute.
Did you get to the point where that fucking dude comes and chases you?
What, in the Resident Evil?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it's so scary.
I think I just did that fucking format on my drive. Like, escape, format C:.
I just actually set my computer on fire is what I did. I just burned it down. Hopefully that will get rid of the horror. Someone asks, are you not more scared of trolls in the woods?
No, but there is a lot of good like Swedish mythology lore, and it all comes back to like trolls or spirits or
woodland fairies.
Exactly, like trying to trick you into the wood and I don't know, kidnap you or murder you or rape you or just fuck with you. So there's a lot of dark stuff. And when I was younger, there was this one dude in our village who had like one elderly fellow who knew all the stories, right? So when I was fishing like in the woods, like quite far away from the village, it was quite scary when I was younger, I remember. But I don't know. Nowadays I have this thing called sleep paralysis. Do you know what that is?
Yes. Oh, yes, kind of. I don't have it, but I've heard of what it is. Yeah.
It's the most scary fucking thing you can imagine, man. So I should be like immune to horror movies, but I'm not. Not at all.
I didn't know you had sleep paralysis. That's pretty scary.
Yeah, it's scary as fuck. You know what's the scariest part about like sleep paralysis is, well, when you're having it, it's scary, obviously. But what's most scary about it is that everybody like who has it's like sees the same thing. Because it's all about like when you start dreaming, your body turns off, so you shouldn't like start running in your sleep because you do that in the dream. So it's like a self-defense mechanism. But you wake up like before, you semi-wake up before that lock on your body is removed. And you're hallucinating as fuck like when that happens. But I had it so many times, so like you can hear this like buzz sound like when it comes. So I've learned to just wake up when the buzz sound comes. I don't have to experience the whole deal. Because when you experience the whole deal, it's no man. It's like you're fighting for your life, basically.
Oh man, I'm so sorry that happens to you. That's pretty dark.
No. It's kind of cool to be honest, but it's fucking horrifying when it happens. It's like you have this entity like in your peripheral vision that you know wants to kill you, like or do something bad, right?
Yeah.
it's sometimes I've seen like like normally they have like this lady sitting on your chest, and I only see that like a few times, but that fucking entity thing that tends to be consistent. And and like in the States, like a lot of people think they've been abducted by aliens. You can like pinpoint it to
Sleep paralysis.
Yeah. Because it's sometimes you feel like you're flying, you're lifting yourself up from the bed.
Yeah.
It's like you're hovering over the bed. Or sometimes you feel like you're falling through the bed. But I guess that in combination with the buzzing sound and you're semi-awake, but you're not awake and you're hallucinating as fuck, I guess how some lunatics can think they're being abducted or something.
That's wild. That's honestly wild. I mean, aliens are actually 100% factually real because they steal
They
babies.
should be, right?
And they live on the moon, and the giants are in charge of them. But honestly, that's genuinely terrifying. Some of the guys in the chat have had similar experiences. Rail, and sorry again, have had it before. Kadro says, I prefer ladies sitting on my face, even when he's asleep. Which is a whole different ball game, I guess. I didn't know that, bro. That's actually really scary. I'm really sorry about that. I promise if that ever happens when I'm staying over there or you're staying over here, I promise to try not to fuck with you.
Like, so like I had this like cool things happen. So I'm having a sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
Because you can barely. I can imagine like if you get a stroke and you can't move your body like you used to. Like imagine like struggling just to move a finger. And I'm sleeping, but I'm not sleeping. And my body is sitting next to the sofa I'm sleeping in, playing a computer game. And I was like, Simon, wake me up. Or trying to say, it's like, Simon, wake me up. I'm really, really weak. And then he just woke me up, and I was like, thanks. So he's like, what the fuck?
That's wild.
Yeah, it's some freaky shit. Can't wait until they figure it out. But that's like, not like nightmare, like the word nightmare, or it's like in Sweden we have something called nattmara, and that's basically nightmare, like a woman who like feed on your dreams. Like it's one of those old stories or myths about this creature, and you can see how that can exist because when you have the sleep paralysis, a lot of people see that woman like sitting on top of you. And like you understand, like when they were burning witches and shit, like back in the days.
Yeah.
Like a lot of that, like originates from that, I believe.
Honestly, not where I expected the conversation to go. But
it's fun though, right? It's fun.
It is really fun. My missus is super into numerology, and the other day she tried to heal my root chakra, and I laughed.
What's your root chakra?
So much. I'm just like, cool, no problem. But let's not get into people's beliefs today. No. Never a positive. I will tell you one thing though, is I don't dream. I have zero dreams. No dreams. Oh. I have real life dreams and goals and ambitions, but I have no sleep dreams.
Like a vampire.
Yes. And I go to sleep like. Well, actually, not true. I would normally say I go to sleep in like 3 seconds, apart from one time in my life when I stayed with Jonathan where I was unable to sleep. First time in my entire existence. Yeah. I've never been able to sleep.
Oh, it's fine, man. I snore as well. It's like, okay, little bitch. see what you can go for.
see what you can handle now. Also, just found out some hot new... we've been going way too fast. Seen some new rules for the Lumineth Realm Lords. Do you want to hear it? Yeah. So, the Alirith Stone Guard adopt the Mountain stance, making them as enduring as rock. This means that if a weapon has a range characteristic of -1 hits them, the rend is reduced to dash. This is further boosted by being from the great nation of Yemetrica rules, which include the characteristics of -2. So they now adopt the stance, and they ignore rend of 2. The Stone Guard also use their Aether Quartz reserves, So I imagine this will be like a reserve mechanic like you see on the Kharadron Overlords, which, based on the conversation I had the other day with Smorgan about minion abilities, I think we're going to see more and more armies with once per game, or units with once per game, or like these resource mechanics. They're like, you're going to have to resource manage your army like better and better, right?
Yeah. I prefer that over the stratagems in 40k where you can just use them every turn.
Stratagems in 40k is the worst.
I like stratagems. I like stratagems, but not the way you're able to use them.
Because stratagems like basically make all rules ineffective, because you start your game with what's the best stratagems, and then every army is the same, because like they don't make a good stratagem for each unit, whereas the abilities being on the War Scrolls in Age of Sigmar is better, because either the abilities on the War Scrolls suck or don't suck. Yeah. Whereas like it's so polarizing, like the stratagem. Anyway.
Yeah.
But however,
imagine the OCD the elves must have to name a country Geometrica.
Yeah. And the Stone Guard also use their Aether Quartz reserves to increase their armor save to a 3+. So these Stone Guard guys have got a 3-up save, ignore rend of 2. Pretty decent.
Also, do reduce one more?
Yeah, because they're from Geometrica. Rend of 1 because they've taken up Mountain Stance.
Yeah.
Rend 2 because they're from Geometrica.
So what does a Mountain Stance like imply? Can you move in normal, or are you just? I mean, mountains don't move, right?
No, they don't move. I think it'll be very much like, you know, when Colonel Hunters plant their roots.
Yeah.
It's
like piling. Is it piling and?
Yeah, they can't pile in.
Yeah.
And then the High Warden. So there's another little spell that we've seen, because these are from the little side boxes of the battle report in White Dwarf. The High Warden casts Power of Heesh, enabling his unit to cause mortal wounds on a 5+ in combat. So like Blades of Putrefaction, but better.
5. Was it 5+ as well?
No, just 5. Well, it says 5+, but I don't think it means 5+.
Well, if it's not 5+, it's just a 5.
Yes, but it's the White Dwarf rules. It's the White Dwarf guys. They're not like.
Yeah. It could be a 5 and 6, I guess. But there's not much in the game at the moment who gives +1 to hit those. So, like, depending on their allies and stuff, they might not have that available to them at all. And then it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah. So that's a little fun thing. And then I've just seen another fun thing. So Jervis responds, so this is again from the battle report, by having Teclis automatically cast 4 spells. Each of them with a casting value of 10. So there you go. I think that's the way it works. 4 spells on a 10, 3 spells on an 11, 2 spells automatically cast on a 12. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So he's cast 4 spells. So Teclis, for 660 points, can cast 4 spells automatically on a 10+. So he casts Protection of Teclis, allowing Lumineth within 18 inches to ignore wounds on a 5+. That's crazy.
I think it's good actually, because I mean, then at least he gets to, because he's supposed to be a really good mage, right? And he gets to like cast spells even though maybe Nagash is on the board or Singe is on the board. I mean, Singe can dispel it 1 turn maybe, or 1 spell, and Nagash is, what is it, 50-50? I don't know. But it makes me able to cast spells. And let's be honest, like if there are no big magicians on the board like on the other army, he wouldn't have problem casting spells anyway, probably. But he gets to compete with the really big guys, right?
Yeah, but Teclis, Smorg in the chat is saying Teclis is going to fuck Croak up. But this spell is crazy. 18-inch range, so Lumineth allows Lumineth within. Now, it doesn't say wholly within. I'm hoping the spell is wholly within. But Lumineth within 18 inches to ignore wounds on a 5+. So imagine you've got Teclis in the center of the 18-inch bubble. Everything gets a 5+ DPR save on top of their armor save, which, as we just discussed, could be a 3-up ignoring rend of 2. And then he also casts Storm of Searing Light, which causes mortal wounds on every Chaos unit within 18 inches.
What?
Oh, okay. Okay. Big shout out to my man Colonel Cabbage in the chat. What up, baby? Arcane Bolt finishes off a Gaunt Summoner. That's rude, as I'm painting one. And Total Eclipse forces Louis to use 2 command points on his command abilities. Wow. So there's a spell that makes you spend. There's a spell that makes you. There's a spell that makes you use 2 command points on your command ability instead of 1. So if you want to do a command ability, you've got to spend it on 2. That's wild. That's
just
wild.
made Osiark stronger, man.
Yes. Yeah, because they're not using command points. So you make 1 casting roll, and if it's high enough, you can choose to have more spells go off automatically. No, what happens is, I think, Teclis casts 2 spells, and they're automatically on a 12+. Instead, you could cast 3 spells, so you cast more spells on an 11+, or you can cast 4 spells, and they're on a 10+. But being able to cast 10 spells on a 4+, just deciding that to be the case.
Maybe that thing is one of those, because he's on this monster, right? So maybe that's a degenerating thing, like depending on how many wounds he's taken as well. Maybe, but it's very, very strong for 660 points. A 5-up DPR save on everyone, and then kill every unit hit every chaos unit within 18 inches, and be able to make. I mean that one make someone spend 2 command points on a command ability is huge. So now they have a challenge to make every other hero as a valid choice as Teclis, but they should work a different way, right?
Yeah, I think. But what's hilarious is like if you've taken Teclis, you've already lost the game because that guy looks dumb as fuck. Like that's some stupid.
Disagree, man.
Shut up, man. What? Do you honestly?
He looked like one of those nuns in Game of Thrones. I mean, they have to take elves and they have to like Age of Sigmar them, right? Because otherwise they would just be normal dudes. I think I like it. I think you're just comfortable enough in your own sexuality to like that.
I am. I'm very comfortable in my own sexuality. That I don't think Teclis' sexuality or my feeling towards it has anything to do with why I think it looks dumb. I just think this pose, like he's just done a triple vault, and he's just landed a perfect dismount from the rings in a gymnast, is decent. But
is that jealousy I hear?
Yeah, well, because I can't do triple flips anymore. Anyway, right. Well, that's some wild stuff that we've been learning.
I told you about the time I jumped from a trampoline and I think I almost wrecked my anus.
So please tell us that story because I want to hear it.
So it was a 10-meter trampoline and I jumped from it, but I jumped with my legs like this. And when you jump on a trampoline, you should jump like this instead.
Yeah.
So it was basically like when you fall over and hit your stomach, like it was like all the force came in my anus. So have you ever like smashed a finger in a door or something?
Yes.
Like the feeling you get in a finger when you smash it in a door. That was my anus. I was looking in the pool like, have I shit myself? Like, what the fuck? Couldn't sit for days, man. So now always jump like this. Hands in.
Well, that's why. That's a lesson I've learned.
So you can't only breaking your anus with a penis is not the only way.
You're giving me the Rona. Good. There's nothing more to say. Thank you very much. This has been the Oswald Gamer. This is Mr. John from Atland. If you've enjoyed the show, please don't rip your anus. Stay hydrated. Drink lots of water. Thank you to the Oswald Gamer Patreons. And thank you for joining us live. Doodle, Shutgate, Gorka Walker. Trampoline anus safety, the greatest Swedish story ever told. John, it's been a pleasure. Fuck you,
Always.
buddy. Always.